Champions press conference. In fact, we need no further introduction from me. Please welcome Sebastian Vettel and Kimi Raikkonen. Guys, thank you. Lovely to see you both. I can't start this press conference without talking about your upper lips, respectively. Sebastian, you look a bit different since I last saw you, as does Kimi actually. Sebastian, talk us through it.
You don't know how to do it?
I thought I could grow.
Of course you can.
I don't think I could. I don't think I can.
Just try. Then you ask again.
Okay. Well, it's a good. And Kimi, actually, you look like there's an issue with your upper lip as well.
We had a disagreement with what I wear with the white, so this is the end result. No, I had a hockey game and had a little contact, so you know, that's normal. It's normal in my life. So.
A little bit of contact. Yeah, but talk us through. Well, where was the hockey game? Was it here in?
No, in Switzerland.
Switzerland. Wow.
Last night.
Well, I hope that gets better.
It will sometime.
Now, look, let's talk Formula One now then. So, Sebastian, starting with you. Same number of wins as 2010 and 2012, 5. No title this time. How do you reflect on 2018?
Well, I think it was a long year. We had our ups and downs. I think obviously most of us, I guess, followed very closely. But I think we were able to probably as a team do another step. But there's still the last step missing to make sure that we have a word until the end of the championship, fight for it all the way, and not just 2 parts of the season.
Man, you were incredibly quick at various races. What was your favourite win?
Well, I mean, I have 5 to choose from, so, but I would say Bahrain, because I don't know, I initially I didn't like the race, but now I really love it, and I love the trophy after the race, and it was a very intense race, with a tight battle in the last laps. So good to hang on to the lead until the end. Yeah, and then I think the other one that has to be mentioned from Canada, especially I think 40 years after Gilles with Ferrari. I think it was a very emotional day for us.
You were incredibly dominant at Spa as well. That one doesn't stand out?
I wouldn't say incredibly dominant. I think it was a very tight race, at least that's what I remember. So we started second, obviously I got the move done in the first lap to get into the lead, and then it was very close up to the point where I think Lewis didn't want to be close anymore and sort of let me go for the last 10 laps. Before that, I think it was a very, very tight race.
Okay. Kimi, while we're talking about victories, it was fantastic to see you back on the top step of the podium at Kota. Can you just reflect on that weekend very quickly for us?
Obviously, it was a good weekend. I think overall we had pretty decent speed all the time, and we both fall in the right place, and we had a good car. Basically all weekend through, and in the race we did the right things in the right time, so obviously it paid off. It was a bit closer in the end, but then that's what usually happens, so it came quite easily in many ways.
It was amazing, Kimi. Everyone in Formula One was so delighted. I think actually, speaking to you, Sebastian, immediately after the race, the first thing you said was, I am really pleased that Kimi managed to get the win. Were you surprised, Kimi, just by the outpouring of love for Kimi Raikkonen?
I'm a peacemaker, I mean, that's nice, but maybe it was the only time when all the people are happy there. It's not often that one paddock there's happy faces and sad faces, but no, obviously I was happy for myself and for the team. But, yeah, it was a while we had to wait it, and it was good.
And Seb, back to you. Just like to reflect very briefly on a tragedy that took place for Scuderia Ferrari in the middle of the year with the death of President Marchioni. Just your thoughts on that and how difficult it was for the team at that time.
Well, certainly it was a big loss. Obviously, the day-to-day business sort of continued. I think people, knew what was their job and knew what to do. But surely, yeah, I think we tried to continue in the best way, the best manner we could, and try to do our job. I think that's what probably he would have liked to see. He was giving us always a lot of pressure, but also there to help us and guide us. So of course it was a big loss, but I think we, as I said, as a team, we tried to respond and just continue respecting him and his legacy. And as I think we also try to keep going forward.
Well, going forward, talking about his legacy, what do you need from your car next year to get that fifth title?
Better performance. I think it's very simple. Obviously, we had our races that you maybe mentioned as well, where we were very close and very competitive. I think overall our car this year has been more, sort of all-round car which worked more or less on all the tracks. But I think we had our highlights, and I think most of them we used. But then we had too many races where we were not quite there. Sometimes for maybe a tenth or two, but sometimes also for a bit more, where we were left with not much to do during the weekend, and that obviously is something that we must fix and try to control better going into next year.
Okay, thank you, Seb. Kimi, back to you. So we had the high point of the win in Austin, but also there was that tremendous pole position in Italy as well. So all the other drivers were loving your victory in Austin. It seemed that Tifosi went absolutely mad for you after the qualifying in Monza.
Yeah, I think for Ferrari, generally, obviously, both cars there in the front, so it was good, but obviously we didn't really go what we wanted in the next day, but we tried our best, and that's how it goes sometimes, but I think, to be honest, whichever position we would have been there, I think they cheer for us anyhow, so obviously the better we do, it's more fun for us and for them, but we have a lot of support from the coaches.
Now I want to take you back to 2001. We were all a bit younger then, but I've got two memories of 2001 that I want to talk to you about now. First of all, Mika Hakkinen was in his final season of Formula 1 back then, a giant of the sport. And in Austin, you surpassed his record of wins, so you're now the most successful Finnish driver. What does that mean to you, and what sort of influence has Mika had on your career?
It's hard to say what influence. Obviously, I get to know him those years, the first year in F1, and then coming into McLaren when he left, but honestly, before I didn't know him at all, and it's just obviously there was a friendship then involved, and I would say that there's a big influence. Obviously, all the Finnish guys before me have had some influence, and without any Finnish guys for sure, or any country's driver is difficult to go if there is no before one. So I think this all started from Keke. So it's a long story, but it's 10 new things, Mika, and obviously it's all kind of got from there, and I guess he gave some words to Ron, and so yeah, it was nice how it went, but it was a few years ago.
Alright, so if that's Mika Hakkinen, if you Google pictures of Kimi Raikkonen in 2001, he doesn't look a day younger than he does now, ladies and gentlemen, but he was in Sauber colours back then, obviously. You're going back there next year. You tested the car in Abu Dhabi last week. Just the scale of the challenge, how excited are you?
I am excited. It's different, obviously, but I think, obviously I've been in a team with a lot of different people now. But I think they have all the tools. They have a great wind tunnel. They have everything to build a great car. So obviously we have a Ferrari engine, so we know what we're gonna get. And I don't see a reason why we couldn't do a good job out of it. Where is that gonna take us? We'll see next year. But for me it was important to just try the car, see if there's any big things we need to fix, and it was pretty straightforward.
There's a good pub quiz question here, because you two both are linked by Sauber, aren't you?
Yeah.
So just talk us through your link with Sauber. I remember it vividly, a long time ago as well.
Yeah, I only did one race with Sauber, but yeah, it was sort of the beginning of my career. Obviously, I was with BMW at the time, and BMW had a partnership with Sauber, and I was coming up, and obviously after the accident that Robert Kubica suffered in Canada, and I was the reserve driver. I got the seat for the weekend after in Indianapolis and did my first race. So yeah, only one race. Then obviously Robert was back, which was good for him. But yeah, I definitely wanted to race more, and then the chance came up with Toro also, as I still had the link with Red Bull, and then it went sort of the other direction.
The rest, as they say, is history. Well, look, I'm going to open this up to the floor now, ladies and gentlemen, and I'd like to start with Izvestia. I believe you have a question for these guys. Izvestia, are you here? If you could put your hand up, we will get a microphone to you. Izvestia, if you could put your hand up, or is there no one from Izvestia? In which case, where, sorry? Okay, yes please, sir, off you go.
I need one moment.
Okay, sir.
One moment.
Is there any, well, we could open it up to the floor elsewhere, so has anyone else got a question for either of these two? Any questions, Dennis, for these two guys? Yes, sir, off you. Can we get a microphone to the front, please?
Russian, yeah? Сергей Подоркин, Санкт-Петербургские ведомости. Вопрос Кими и Себастьяну. Что вы думаете о программе в Академии Феррари? Есть российский пилот Роберт Шварцман. Что вы думаете, если вы с ним, и как вы считаете, насколько он быстрый?
Robert Schweizman is on the part of the Ferrari Driver Academy. What do you think of the academy, and what do you think of Robert? Question for you, Sebastian.
Well, of course, I'm aware. I think been following a little bit. He had, I think, a quite strong finish in the last part of the season in Formula 3. So obviously from there, still a long way to go. But I think it's the right formula. It's been growing a lot, and obviously the closer you get to the top, the harder it will get. So we will see and follow him. For the academy, I think it's nice that obviously a team like Ferrari, other teams, they take their knowledge and their power also to help young talents coming up and support them and give them a little bit more than just the support financially, but also a bit of direction of what to look out for in their lives and their careers. So, as I said, it's obviously always difficult, but we'll see what Robert's up to in the future.
Thank you, Sebastian. Do we have any more questions from the floor? Yes.
Есть такое мнение, что в России плохие дороги. Хочется узнать, как нравятся нашим гостям российские дороги и что еще успели заприметить в России, что понравилось, что нет.
A question for both of you guys. Kimi, perhaps we could start with you. What have been your highlights of your trip to Russia, and what do you think of the roads here in Russia?
I've been actually in Russia quite a few times. When I was younger, we came by car from Finland, so we were in, I think it's called Saint-Petersburg, in doing ice karting. It's like on the speedway rules and speedway track and no brakes, so we went there many years doing the Russian championship, and there was people from US, so teams from US, and it was a good time. I mean, there was a lot of things going on, and it was exciting, and we always enjoyed it.
We're only 300 k's, I think, from
No, exactly. Yeah, but roughly maybe a bit less.
Okay, Thank you, Kimi. Sebastian, your highlights of being in Russia?
Well, I think usually it's the Grand-Prix we have in Sochi. Obviously here it's a little bit different, it's a bit colder, but I think it's a very nice place. I haven't seen much yet, but I think there's a lot more to see than I have time. But I think it's, it would be my #1 address to come to St. Petersburg and see a little bit more.
There you go, the #1 address, come to St. Petersburg. Ladies and gentlemen, any more questions, please? Yes, madam, please, at the back.
Hello, I also have a question for Kimi. You transferred to Sauber, the team where you have started your career in Formula 1, and I would like to know, what did you feel when you sat in the car for your kind of native team? Thank you.
When I drove it, again, what's the question?
I think, how did you feel when you drove the car again? Yes.
I think it felt very similar, and what I'm used to, obviously it's a different car, looking a bit different wheels and stuff, but to be honest, it wasn't all different feeling. I probably expected bigger difference, we just were testing the tires and not really doing any set, or we didn't do any set work, so just took the car and did laps and try to see what is what, and I think as a first experience was okay.
How many of the guys are the same 17 years later when you were last there?
I don't know exact number. Obviously, I met at the factory some guys that we met 2 years ago, so Beat is there, that's for sure, but there's other people also that I've met. They've been there since those days, but maybe my memory is bad, but I don't remember everybody, so. But no, it's nice to see.
Thank you, Kimi. Yes, Dieter, please.
Dieter Raikkonen, Racing Lines. Sebastian, Lewis won a championship before you, then you took 4 on the bounce, and then he's taken 4 since then. So as you went into the season, it was possible for either you or him to be fifth world champion. How do you feel about having lost to Lewis? I mean, what does it do to your motivation? At which stage did you realise that he'll be the first of the two of us to be fifth, to get 5?
Well, I think first of all, it's a nice position to be in, to be able to fight for a championship. Obviously, the years after my last championship haven't been straightforward, so I think it's nice in the last 2 years to be back in reach to fight for wins and then also have a word to say for the championship. But I think if you look at the whole championship, then we were still too far away. Obviously, it was looking quite good and close up to halfway through, and maybe the race, including Spa and Monza. But after that, I think we had quite a significant drop in performance, which obviously made it quite difficult for us. And equally, Lewis, together with Mercedes, obviously had a very, very strong sequence of races, scoring a lot of points, a lot of wins, and then the gap opened up quite quickly. From that point onwards, I think, I don't know. I don't have a point in my mind. I think you always tend to, believe and fight until the end. So it was really Mexico when I realized that it will be difficult and then impossible once we crossed the line. But until then, I didn't really follow the points that closely. I obviously knew that it wasn't going in my favor, but how many championships, I think, is anyways a sort of luxury to be able to choose from. But I think the motivation is obviously to win, and the motivation is to win with Ferrari. That's my ambition, my target. Obviously not there yet, not quite. So we try again.
Any more folks? Yes, sir.
Andrew was Racing News Agency. Sebastian, in your those years you spent with Kimi Ferrari, there was that nice human side, because you're kind of friends and almost neighbors there in Switzerland. If there is any chance that there will be kind of human side like that in your future work with Charles Leclerc, you'll be just rivals and just teammates.
So the question is, will there be a repeat of the human side?
Some kind of, yeah, or you'll be just rivals, ordinary rivals and ordinary team.
I don't know. I think, time will tell, obviously. I don't know Charles yet so much, he doesn't know me, so yeah, I think we know each other, and I think he's a good kid, so I don't expect that there's anything wrong on track. I think we will be rivals as much as Kimi and myself have been rivals. You always try to, to get first, and if you do that, you beat everybody else, also your teammates. So we will see, obviously, but I think we also know that we want to bring Ferrari back to winning ways, and yeah, for him obviously it's a different point in his career compared to mine. But as I said, I think time will tell. But I think from what I know now and how much I know him now, I think it seems like a good chance.
Kenny, are you going to miss this guy?
I'm sure we're going to see each other often, so I mean, I don't think it has changed since we met the first times to today, so I don't see it's going to change anywhere. It will be a lot of racing in the same team, so I will still stay friends, and I'm sure we'll travel together sometimes and talk about more things.
Seb, 5 years seems to be the limit. Mark Webber, 5 years. Kimi Raikkonen, 5 years. Teammate for 5 years seems to be.
I am. Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would have liked if Kimi stays also, so for me it wasn't the limit to break up. Maybe he had enough, I don't know.
I think on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna leave it. Thank you both very much, and these two guys for coming and joining us. Sebastian Vettel and Kimi Raikkonen, ladies and gentlemen. And so,